Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Tuesday. All right, guys, it seems like we're feeling just a little bit better. And thank you guys for all of your kind words and all of the things. Um, this has been a journey and I'm over this shit. Let's just say that. But if you guys did, if you did not catch Jason and Gelsey on Anchor Watch today, then definitely go be a part of the replay crew because they did a great show. I just finished watching them. But in the meantime, pop off in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from. And we have a lot of shit to cover, especially Kiki Monique talking to Carlos King. This is a lot. Here we go. All right, guys. So this has been an interesting journey with the Real Housewives of Orange County. But before we get into it, you guys are always asking me, especially when I'm sick, and if you're new to the Addams family, about my skincare. I appreciate you guys. You're the best. There's no filter on here. And people always ask me about that. They're like, Adam, why do I have no filter on? But what I can do is say, it is my Blue Mean Face Pro 2.0. So with the press of a button, I can change the settings. And literally, it uses these little microcurrents. You can hear it. And it sounds like a massage, but it lifts, illuminates, rejuvenates your skin, and takes all of the inflammation out. So not only does it just like make my face feel snatched, normally this guy is about $300. If you click on my link in the description, also pinned in the comment section, you get it for $200 off. The best part is if you don't love it and it doesn't reduce your double chin, then they will refund you 100%. But we have to get into this, guys. Oy, ay, ay. Here we go. Share screen. Here we go.
To somebody, because what happened in January, you said you spoken to a fellow journalist about it. So what happened where you felt the need to talk about it to somebody months later?
Yeah, I had no interest in doing anything with that information. But when January was announced, and it was announced that Gretchen was coming to the Real Housewives of Orange County, okay, that is where I did get concerned, because now I had a piece of information, which, I'm sorry, if these allegations are true, that's illegal. And that is, I don't know. One, I want to get to the bottom of if there's any truth to this story, because like, if so, this like needs to be exposed. And two, like, we had just come off of that really dark RHOC season with Bryn and all of that. And I truthfully was like, if they were talking about this, because I couldn't think of any other reason they were talking about this at this dinner in October, unless they were thinking that this might be a storyline in the upcoming.
But I talked to somebody.
Well, you know what's funny is, and I hope that they get to this, but what Jason questioned was, okay, well, if you went there to share that about Gretchen, and we love Kiki, but if you went there to share that about Gretchen, why did you share the thing about the Asian designers with Gina if it wasn't to be quote unquote messy?
Season. And I said,
hold on, here we go.
This is just not something that I think the viewers have the appetite for as a stomach line when we just came up off that RHOC season. So I feel like I need to like either find out if this story is true or not, and like just like put an end to it. And if it's not true, like we can just like, dead it. Or if there is truth to the story, like we need to find out, because this is actually like, it's illegal or it's defamatory, one or the other.
And when you felt this way, you had a conversation with another journalist. What was that conversation like?
And this is where it gets muddy. And this is why, again, like when you see things repeated on different platforms as it goes, the game of telephone is really terrible. But I spoke to one journalist initially. I said, can you help me? Because again, I'm independent. They're legacy media. They have more resources and access than I do. I don't want this attached to me. And I also don't want coming season. And I said, this is just not something that I think the viewers have the appetite for as a stomach line when we just came up off that RHOC season. So I feel like I want the story coming to light. I just want to find out if we can find out if there's any truth to the story. that reporter, despite what was out there, never repeated my name, never said, even it was a he or she who found this information and was able, I felt comfortably came back to me that this story was not true. And so I was like, that's fine. I'm comfortable with the story not being true. And I don't really know what to do with it from here other than hope it doesn't come out in the next season. Speaking to the other journalist, it's hard to get into because, as you know, building relationships in this industry requires very intimate, off-the-record conversations about a lot of different things. And the conversation with the second journalist really was centered around that. We were having a very sort of open, back and forth discussion about a lot of different things that, again, I won't get into because it would expose the story coming to light. I just want to find out if we can find out if but there was a reason why Katie's name came up in that conversation. I can say part of it was him trying to understand my thoughts on her and, you know, trusting her and that sort of thing. And I said, look, and I said, I really do like her. You know, we've had a great rapport. There was this one thing, so I wasn't sure, but I'm comfortable the story isn't true. So, you know, I've moved on from it, but I will say, like, that was like a weird story. I expected that conversation to never leave that bubble of, again, off the record. And unfortunately, that conversation was taken back to Tamra.
Well, see, and again, no offense to Kiki or anybody else, but I think that multiple conversations in this moment seem like they should have been not taken back. And I think that's probably why, if you look at the fans and like the feedback and like the backlash for Kiki, I think that a lot of people are going in on her. And I think it's because they feel like she's being called a journalist. Here's the thing. I know that we're not bloggers. I don't know if in fact Kiki is a journalist. I feel like a journalist is like, I don't know, I guess the best person to name right now off the top of my head, which you guys might not like, is like Rick Leventhal, who went to different war zones and things to do coverage. Like, I feel like that is a journalist. I think that we're covering very cotton candy like content. And I just don't totally feel as though this is something that classifies you as a journalist. But somebody can ask ChatGPT. I could be totally wrong. Really, after listening to this is part 1. I'm going to play part 2 also on the channel. That way you guys have access to it. And I want you guys to see the rest of what is being said. But as somebody who's like sitting back looking at this through the lens of doing pretty much the exact same thing that Kiki does, I can see multiple reasons why she operated in the way that she did. I think that it's great for visibility. I think that there was, you know, a couple of different videos. Like there was a video from Chicago of like the name on everybody's lips. Like it was Chicago instead of it being Roxy. It was like Kiki Monique. And then I know that she did a TikTok where she was like, I'm going to take a shot every time they say Kiki Monique. So I think that she is really, really loving this. And I love that for her. But like, there's no hard journalism here. And that's not being like shady or trying to rip somebody apart. I'm just saying, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a journalist. You know, I would consider myself a YouTuber who is covering shit that comes out about like the housewives and the Bravo talent. I don't know. I want to hear what you guys think. Guys, this is part 1. Part 2 is right behind it. Pop off in the comment section. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And we'll see you next time. Well, on part 2. Love you guys. Bye.